Boys and Girls Academy, and we're going to have a conversation with Professor Lord and Robert Winston about science and the London International Youth Science Forum.
Were you born a scientist?
Sorry?
Were you born a scientist?
Was I born a scientist?
Yeah.
We're all born as scientists, aren't we? Isn't that what babies are? Babies basically explore the world around them, don't they? And that's what makes us scientists. So yeah, we're all scientists.
Was it easy to maintain your interest in science?
But your question's a very complicated question. And in my view, I think that science is best taught where there are decent laboratories for school kids to do practical work, good practical work, because that's always interesting. There will be a few people who will just prefer to solve an intellectual problem without getting their hands wet. But for most of us, myself certainly, that's really important. Getting my hands wet, working on the bench, making an electrical circuit, making an explosion, doing something which is slightly risky. And the other thing I think about science is that science is different from the other subjects and needs teachers who have, I think, particular support during their career. Inspirational teachers are very important. I had two teachers of biology at A-level. One who used to sit on a bench like this, looking at a book with his head down and mumbling. And he was permanently depressed. And the other guy used to take us out to ponds where we would dredge at the bottom of the pond, or we'd go up to Scotland and look at a marine biology station, or we'd go to Norfolk and look at plants growing in the wild in Norfolkshire, or we would do a mad experiment with your chair and get a copy of that book, Mad Ideas. You can take it away for your school if you want to do that now, the hardback. Okay, you can put it in your school library and I'll sign it for you. Because it basically contains some, yeah, okay, that'll be fine. It contains some of the ideas, okay? And it really, that light bulb, I mean, it's an amazing photograph actually, split second. But the light bulb is also, of course, a symbol of, good and bad science, really. So, science is costly to do, it's costly to teach, but it's very important because it's the basis of what we do. You got here as a result of science, you'll leave here as a result of science. When you switch on the light when you get home is a result of science. That camera out there is a result of science. It actually permeates everything we do, okay? And it becomes increasingly burgeoning and more powerful, and to some ways more threatening too. So it becomes more and more of a concern that actually as it becomes more powerful it can do us harm. That's why all of us have to have control of science. Even if you end up as lawyers, for example, doing something which has nothing to do with science, it's very important that you are scientifically literate so you can understand how you can control in a democratic society and take part in what science can offer and where it might go wrong. And we face massive examples of that. We have climate change, we have food shortages, in parts of the world where water is unbelievably short. All those things can only really be solved by
London and the London International Youth Science Forum is about diversity. How do you keep ideas in science relevant across the many cultures?
Well, I think one of the issues clearly, Mario, is that there's a massive need to have more women in science, which is a form of diversity. And I think we're doing quite a lot about that. Places like Imperial College, we're really key. My laboratory, I've appointed scientists on the whole that didn't get first-class honours degrees, deliberately, quite specifically, because actually I would rather have young people around me who actually perhaps developed other interests at university and didn't just focus entirely on getting that first. That's been a very successful strategy in my group. It's produced a lot of useful science.